Well, I guess in terms of speaking about gamblers and traders, Steve's worked with fund managers, corporations, athletes, and traders. What are some similarities and differences between and gamblers? What are the gamblers? What are the similarities and differences between all those characters over there?
I'll put the gamblers maybe to one side and just maybe focus on sort of the traders, the fund
Yeah, let's
managers,
do that.
athletes. I think, I'm saying that in terms of, and I'm saying gamblers in terms of, let's call them kind of casual speculators and so on. But if we look at the people that are kind of professional in their approach or trying to do something to a serious level with commitment, and we look at obviously therefore those categories. I think some of the similarities are that whether you're playing sports, whether you're playing poker, whether you're playing the markets, either as a trader or an investor, there is a skill set, a knowledge set, there is a craft to be acquired. So there is at the basic level probably a commitment to the mastery of that craft, which I think is shared in common. And probably at the high levels, there's an enjoyment in the process of actually going through, the steps and the process of getting good at whatever your context is. There's probably something within some of those domains around maybe being competitive, either against self or against others, but maybe some kind of driving force to, to kind of be the best you can be or to be the best, and different people maybe angle slightly differently. I think you've got to be a good learner across all of them. So I think the better you are at learning, the faster you can accelerate and the better you can perform over time. I think resiliency in all domains, sports, poker, trading, investing, you're going to be taking losses. It's not always going to go to plan. So you're going to need some methodology for how you deal with things when they're not going well, whether it be the emotions, the thoughts, the body. Confidence probably plays a factor, or convictions, we might call it in the trading and investing world. So I think they're going to be in common. Then I think if we separate probably poker and trading and investing away from sports in terms of what's different, is I think the level of uncertainty, the fact you're taking financial risk, there's large levels of ambiguity, uncontrollability. If you're a swimmer and you're doing the 50-meter freestyle, there's probably going to be 6 or 8 lanes, maybe 10. You'll know in advance it's going to be 50 meters. You're all going to be doing freestyle. It's not going to be 55 meters. It's not going to be 47. If you're playing golf, the golf course isn't going to change in its structure while you're playing the game. So I think there's a little bit more predictability. You know when you're going to play in sport, you know how long you're going to play for, whereas in the markets and in poker to a degree, there can be this kind of ongoing, as Jamie was saying earlier, never knowing when it's going to change and so on. So I think there's some things that are similar and there are some nuances that are different. And I think primarily, again, a big difference is obviously trading, investing, poker are very cognitive activities, and obviously sport largely within the body, obviously does vary from sport to sport, but there's a very large physical component. And sometimes in sport, we want a quiet mind. And the mind gets in the way when it's too noisy. And obviously in trading and investing, and poker, we're tapping into those cognitive abilities. So I think, some very similar attributes and some that are quite different.
Yeah, I would go focus on some of the similar attributes to, playing a sport at a high level and trading. So, when you play a sport at a high level, the game is like the trading, right? All that happens before is your training, right? So all the practices, the two-a-days, that to me would be analogous to your planning in trading, right? Your research. Good traders, I feel like a lot, they don't just sit down in front of the screen and that's it, and they just start clicking buttons, right? You're not always playing the game. You have to be preparing. You have to be getting ready. So in that sense, you're planning, your preparation, you're running your scans, you're going over your levels. That's like your practice. You're getting ready for the game. So in that way, they are similar because you have a framework. Now, you can plan for all this and you can have your levels mapped out and everything, but something is going to happen every day that you don't expect, right? Because you're just getting ready. And that's similar to a team sport. So, you can plan to run this offense or whatever, or this defense, but maybe someone, just use the sport that I played, water polo, right? So you can plan that you're playing against man-to-man, but maybe they run a drop, right? That'd be like basketball. Maybe they're running a zone instead, right? So you have to react to that. So you have a framework with which to work, but you still have to make decisions, human decisions on the spot. So that's similar to trading. I think that'd be more similar than, Steve gave the example swimming, which would be less similar because, again, yeah, it's very defined. You're going 2 laps back and forth. You're not really making a decision. There is not the ability to make a decision, right? That's it. You know what you have to do. No one else is coming at you. So there are the similarities between, trading and team sport in that there is uncertainty. And I keep coming back to that word uncertainty, but that's really what it is. And you have to be ready to make a decision.